obviously you went to was it Chivenor first because you went to get some training on the Hawk. Can you tell us about your experience there and what you thought of the jet?
What a great aircraft. I love the Hawk, and I had a great time. So we get there, and we've got to get up to speed just on just procedures, right? SOPs, comms, different stuff, how the RAF operates. So went to Chivenor, RAF Chivenor down in Devon, Cornwall, going down there. And probably about two, just did a short course, and they have like air to air course, and they got long course, short course. They got air to ground stuff as well. And I did the short course air to air stuff. And we also did sea survival and a lot of things just to kind of get ready to go and to fly the F3. But I got down there and just had an absolute ball. Loved that aircraft. It's two-seater, and the back seat sits high, so it's got a HUD as well. So for a Rio, it's great. Now I got a HUD. I can see all that kind of stuff. It's two-sticker. I fought with it a bunch, and then that's where I learned about low levels with you guys, and just is eye-watering. I remember that we did I think we took it from Chivenor all the way up to Lossiemouth. We went way up there, and like a four ship, but like, hey, we're gonna do some low level training tomorrow, but we're whatever you pick it. And so I was gonna help design where we're gonna go. And I remember in the U.S. we have what's called Victor routes, and they're like maybe 5 miles east side of the center line, so 10 miles wide. It'll kind of go through different parts of the area, and you can pick what you want to get through there, but it's kind of standard. And so I'm sitting down there with them, like, okay, so, you got a map that's got the Victor routes, and they're like, sorry, mate, what are you talking about? It's Victor routes, like for low levels, like, we don't have those. They go, hey, Boomer, so you see the red dots on the map, which is just the villages? He goes, don't fly over the red dots. I'm like, that's it? Those are the rules? Like, yeah. I'm like, oh man, this is gonna be fun. And so we did low levels through that, and it's funny, I was on the air to air course, and I had experience, but one day, I wish I remember the guy's name. I'm in the ready room, and he says, hey, Boomer, he goes, I've got an empty boot, I got an empty back seat for 11 o'clock flight. I've got to requal. We go off to, I think, Pembroke Range. There's like a little range over there for dropping bombs. And he goes, I got 6 bombs. I got to go. I got to requal dropping bombs, and got a full load of rounds, and we're going to air to ground strafe. He goes, you want to hop in the boot with me? Go. We'll just bat and ball it. I'll drop. You'll drop. I'll drop. Do a low pop. You do a low pop. I'll do a high pop. You do a high pop. Level lay down. And I'm like, okay. And then we'll go over to the range, and we'll strafe. I'll come off. You take it. You come off, and we'll do it until we run out of ammunition. And I'm like, yeah. Because I think I was scheduled for a flight later that day or whatever. Yeah, I'm available. Let's do it. Sounds great. And I said, okay, so 11 o'clock, go. What time do you want to brief? And he looks at me and he goes, I thought we just did. And I thought, I'm going to love the RAF. We had, Navy, you can have a 45-minute brief, an hour to go through everything, exactly what's going to go. And he's like, I thought we just did. And we did. That was it. He's like, meet me. Get your gear on and meet me there. And we went and had an absolute ball with that. That was so much fun. Especially, we'd done the Bombcat, so I dropped a little bit. So I was familiar with the procedures. So it was a lot of fun to actually pick and drop them myself. And then the air to ground strafe, I got like 20 hours. I think I probably got 25, 30 hours total in the Hawk. So I got nothing. I mean, it's a slippery little aircraft, a lot of fun. So pitching in to come in and do the air to ground strafing, I'm weaving until I finally get a good solution. And by that time, I'm through minimum altitude, but it doesn't matter. I'm blasting, hitting it through there and foul the range. And but I didn't care, and they nearly threw us off. But anyway, had a great time with the Hawk. That was just a lot of fun. And then did some good ACM there. My last ACM flight with there was one that's very memorable that I won't forget. That was a lot of fun. Fighting those guys. Yeah, I will. I'll be kind. I'll be kind with it. It was. Everyone treated me so well there. We just had a great time. A lot of respect. It came over the experienced guy, but I still was going through the training. So I was like a student, and I think it was a JAG pilot, and it was that low level flight up to Lossie. I was with him, and he treated me like I was a brand new student. I'm like, okay, he's just kind of on me, but I think, in the brief and stuff like that. All right, fair enough. So do up there, and we get to Lossie. We're having lunch. It's a 4-ship, and we're having lunch. There's like 4 on one side. I'm like one corner, 4 on the other side. He's on the far corner. And now, there's a lot of banter. Love the banter. You guys are great at banter. And he was trying to be banter, but he was also he was a jerk. Anyway, we're having lunch, and he looks over at me and he says, "Hey, so Boomer, I got a question for you." He said, why are Americans so fat? And I thought, man, that was just we barely know each other. I mean, those kind of conversations come out later. That French exchange guy, he was sitting across from me or whatever. I remember the other guys were kind of off put by the whole thing. And I said, well, I was polite, diplomatic about it. I said, well, we're in a fluent country and all that kind of stuff. But I couldn't help myself. He was an English guy. So we had, you guys know it. You're more tribal than we are in the U.S. with Scots and Irish and Welsh and all that kind of stuff. So we had a hodgepodge, but he was an English guy. So I couldn't let it stand. And I said, well, hey, I got a question for you. I said, why are Englishmen so effeminate? And that set things off, right? That's the thing. The other guys are laughing. The French guys are like wiping tears from his eyes, right? And now I got to fly low level with a guy back, right? All the way from Lossie back, right? And that was a great low level. We flew over Island Donan, the Highlander Castle, and then went through the Lake District and then through like Machlu. Just it's an incredible flight, right? But he's not happy with me. We come back. I think he gives me just an average grade, which, I'd done better than that. But I didn't care. But he and I, it's like we don't mesh very well at all. And I may have flown with him one other time after that. But then I flew with him my very last flight over there. And it was an ACM flight. And we brief it. And I'm like, I think I was flying with it was an instructor, but he was going through instructional training. He was an upgrade, that type of stuff. So they got their stuff. They're going to fight. And at the end, we said, hey, well, there's extra gas. We're going to have 1v1 Boomer against, me going to fight. This guy's, I think he'd been a JAG guy, but he 1,000 hours in the Hawk. I got like 25 hours in the Hawk, right? And so I'm like, oh, yeah, I'm looking forward to this. So I tell the guy, I'm like, hey, we're just saving gas. We're just milking gas the whole time because I want to make sure we got gas for this last engagement so I can fight him. And he's doing the same thing. So it was like a butterfly split would come in at each other, whatever. But I told the guy I was flying with. We did a lot of ACM in the Navy. So it's a very 3-dimensional fighting, right? And these guys, JAGs, there's just not a lot of true ACM. They probably do a lot more with the Typhoon now, I'm sure they do. But it's very flat fights, every fight hit, 2 circle, just flat and go that kind of stuff. I'm like, you're missing it. So we hit the merge and I just level the wings, go off the end and just take it vertical. And I tell the guy that I'm flying with, hey, keep me safe watching the AOA and keeping the speed, but hang in there. I'm going to do some things, just hang in there, right? Trust me. And so skied it up and came over and he lost sight. So he did his normal thing, and he's normally you'll pitch in. That's a good chance to kind of look at your instruments and you look back out and the guy you're going to fight, he's going to kind of spit out of your tail at some point. Well, I'm not because now I'm high and he's lost me. So you lose sight, lose the fight, and I'm over the top and I can see him and he calls off that he'd lost sight. And so I told him visual continue, which you hate hearing those words. I mean, that means if you're the guy that says you've lost sight, he sees me, but I don't see him, and he says keep the fight going, which means I'm about to get pummeled, right? So now I'm trying to convert over the top, and I get in, and I get a nice tone, get a Fox 2, and I tell him Fox 2 continue. So normally you'd be kind to Fox 2, you can time it out, knock it off, right? So I'm like Fox 2 continue. I'm not done yet. And then I think he did a timeout kill. I got another Fox 2, and now he still can't find me. And I'm over the top, and he can't find me. And then I remember he makes a bad mistake and rolls the other way because he thinks we're coming the other way. And now he just gives me a beautiful position. I get another Fox 2. He sees me, breaks into me, and now I switch over to gun. And I get and it was not a valid gunshot. We would have never given that in the Navy at all. I counted it though in that fight because I call off guns. So I beat him like a rented mule on that one. That was just so much fun, and I couldn't help myself. Knock it off and it come off, and I'm on the radio, and I laugh over the radio, and I said, that's got to be humiliating. I mean, and so we, and he was not happy about that. We came back to the debrief, and I'm just floating. I'm laughing. And the other guys too, because this guy had a bad reputation. They didn't like him. I think the other instructors didn't like him so much either. But we came in the ready room in the debrief, and I said, I can't wait for you to give me the instruction to tell me how I could have killed you faster. But that was the only, and I hate saying that story. I kind of hate it's a funny story, but
a good one.
But otherwise, I had great experience with just everybody. Man, there's just a lot of respect between a lot of banter. I mean, a lot of banter. You guys are exceptional at that. But I learned a lot on that. But yeah, so but the Hawk was just so much fun. I really enjoyed it. I loved it. I loved everything about that aircraft. It was just a lot of fun. Great experience.